Hello, everybody. I'm Cindy Morris. I am the Vice President of Community Engagement and Development here at ASA. And we are back today for what is our final membership celebration, ASA Live. All good things must, in fact, come to an end, and that is even true of our membership celebration. As a reminder, our membership celebration has been going on for 2 weeks, and it ends today. Anyone who joins or renews by tonight, because it is still going on, and if you use that promo code MC222, I'm sorry, let me do that again, MC2022, you will receive 2 free months added to your annual membership. That will make it last for 14 months instead of 12 months. Plus, the first 250 people who are doing this are receiving a really fun ASA branded swag pack with all sorts of great gear in it. The biggest thing I can say right now that I want to make sure everybody hears is that if you are an existing member of ASA, you can still take advantage of this. You'll renew now. We will add it to the end of your existing membership. So it will not matter that you are already a member, and you will get 14 months added to your existing membership. They will run consecutively. So please take advantage of this now. We have had such a great response already over the last 2 months. And this is really a chance for us to give something back to all of our members. These past 2 weeks, we have been talking to some of our members about the work that they're doing and how ASA supports them. And I'm really loving these ASA Lives. We don't usually get to do them multiple times in a week, and we certainly don't get to talk to all of our different members in one kind of fell swoop like this. So today's is a little bit special for me. We are talking to Derek Lamb. Now, why is this special? Because Derek is the first person that I met when I joined ASA about a year and a half ago. Our wonderful Cynthia Banks, for those of you who remember her, Cynthia, I think like maybe my second or third day on the job, said, I want you to meet somebody. And we had a call with Derek. And what we were talking about is really the relationship between diversity and equity and aging, right? And how those overlap and how those are so important. He taught me so much in just that one conversation. So fast forward, ASA develops our advisory councils, and Derek was tapped to be the co-chair of our Justice and Equity Advisory Council, which we call our ACs. He is a co-chair with our board member, Naja Orr, out of Philadelphia. Thank you so much, Derek, for joining us to talk about this work that you're doing with ASA. I don't even know if you remember our conversation, but I sure have. So thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. So first of all, before we dive into this, let's just back up and say, can you let everybody know about what you do and why you joined ASA to begin with?
Well, absolutely. Thank you, Cindy, again. I currently serve as the president and CEO at ACC Senior Services, a private nonprofit organization based in Sacramento, California. And we provide skilled nursing, assisted living, independent living, memory care, transportation, lifelong learning and wellness program, family caregiver support, and senior employment training under this big umbrella. And also we provide nutrition services under our subsidiary organization called Meals on Wheels by ACC. And the reason I joined ASA almost 20-some years ago was because it's a great membership organization, allowing me to network, to collaborate, and to grow with other professionals in the space of aging. And also allow me to gain knowledge and training from trusted educational leaders in this space. And at one time also served as a member of the board of directors at ASA from 2001 and 2006. So I'm glad to be, continue to engage. with this wonderful organization.
Well, we're really happy that you are helping to lead this particular advisory council. Um, let's start really at the beginning because advisory councils are new to ASA,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of people aren't even familiar with this concept yet. So, can you explain to everyone what is an advisory council and why has ASA brought them about now?
Well, absolutely. The advisory councils are established just this year in April as part of ASA's 2019 to 2024 strategic plan to modernize our membership. So while the board looks to focus on ASA's strategy and our future, the advisory councils are really focusing on programming and thought leadership that positions us as a driver of impact in aging through a lens of diversity, inclusion, and equity. So we are indeed a coalition of thought leaders that leverage the insights, the knowledge, talents, relationships, and experience of our membership to advance our impact on aging collectively. And we set a 2-year plan and provide members with the opportunity to advise and contribute to ASA programs and events.
Yeah, I really have enjoyed kind of seeing the development of the advisory councils because this was not a short process, just developing them. And so it's been very interesting because, as you all know, in my department is where membership is kind of housed, right? And so it's been really important that we found a way to engage our members and to hear from new voices and give those new voices a chance to really come to the table. We have advisory councils for each of our 5 priority areas. Those are health and wellness, economic security, ageism and culture, innovation and social impact, and of course, justice and equity. And that justice and equity one is the one you're co-chairing.
Correct.
I know you and Naja have been working with our other AC co-chairs to build out these councils. Can you explain to everyone how you are selecting the members to join our advisory council?
Well, absolutely. It's a very intentional process. What I mean by that is we are seeking for applicants from a cross-section of sectors such as business, academia, nonprofit, and government. And then we also look at experience, including students, senior leaders, seasoned frontline staff, and retired members. We look at disciplines such as technology, social work, community-based services, arts, community engagement, and financial services. And last but not least, diversity, such as members of color, members with disabilities, religious leaders, and LGBTQ members of all ages. So our goal really is to recruit truly multidisciplinary advisory councils. And we encourage our members to apply for a council that they feel they could benefit from their knowledge and experiences, even if it's an area they haven't traditionally engaged in with ASA.
I think that's one of the things that I kind of really value in our ACs is that we aren't necessarily looking for somebody who would traditionally fit in each of these areas, but rather looking for that multidisciplinary approach to each of these areas because they do overlap so much.
Correct.
You know, one of our goals has been to really drive more diverse participation in our volunteer leadership experiences. And so how are you particularly thoughtful in achieving that goal?
Well, during our planning process, we develop a very, kind of carefully crafted survey. And so when members apply to join the advisory councils, they're asked to provide short statements on one of the 4, questions. Number 1 is the specific skills, the experiences, and credentials. How their background, experience, or skills will contribute to the work of the advisory councils. What kind of projects, programs, or events they would like to see the advisory council take on. And last but not least, for a very important reason is what diversity, equity, and inclusion means to them.
Yeah, and I notice you're using that diversity, equity, and inclusion. We at ASA use kind of that an acronym quite a bit, the DEI, an acronym. And we've been hearing from some people, what is DEI? And so I appreciate that you're spelling that out. It stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's really kind of the center of what we are working towards at this point. In addition to our advisory councils, we have a DEI upstanders group, which really is there as kind of a guiding force to everything we are doing, our advisory councils, to our board, to our staff, to everything that we do. That DEI upstanders group is really helping to ensure that we're really truly meeting and achieving the principles that we've set out for ourselves. But that's separate from our advisory councils. They are two different roles. I got to join a meeting yesterday of the AC co-chairs. It was the first meeting that I got to sit in on, and I could see the thoughtfulness and the effort that you all were putting into this work. So I know that ASA and our members are going to be benefiting from you. How are you personally benefiting from getting so involved in something at ASA like this?
Well, I benefit from this experience by working with members of like mind who really wants to promote elder justice and social movements, diversity and inclusion initiatives, and to explore the intersections between ageism and racism, homophobia, gender bias, or religious discrimination. And indeed, before I agreed to join, this wonderful advisory council, I have been very involved at ASA on diversity, equity, and inclusion, serving as a regional trainer on serving elders of color, a networking and training initiative from like the late 90s to early 2000, and also co-chair of the former network of multicultural aging constituent group. And especially I say yes to this because I'm working with your wonderful board member, Nigel Orr, whom I've met many, many years ago. And I just, am very impressed by the quality of work that he is doing in Philadelphia and also the kind of changes he has instituted as a president and CEO for that corporation.
Yeah, Naja is amazing. And he's actually one of our graduates of our leadership program ever so long ago. And so it's been really fun to have him kind of come back into ASA in this new role. And so that's been kind of special for us. I'm excited to see what programming and networking opportunities come out of these ACs. I know that we put out a broad call for participation earlier this summer. For those who haven't gotten involved yet, because I know we've kind of closed down the initial application process for this at this point. How can those who aren't necessarily going to sit on an AC, how can they still learn from and benefit from the AC experience? What are your goals to ensure that all members benefit from the work of our ACs?
Well, thank you for that great question, because people think, okay, so do I have to wait another year? So the answer is those who did not get involved yet can still join the upcoming 2022 on Aging Conference, which will be held in New Orleans from April 11th through 14th. And this will be a great opportunity for everyone to get to know members who have been selected to the Advisory Council and to reconnect with one another through the conference. So each Advisory Council, we also have a dedicated digital community where agendas, minutes, action plans, and networking opportunities will be posted, accessed, and also archived. Now, to ensure that all members benefit from the work of the advisory councils, our goal is to make sure that each member will commit between 16 to 20 hours each year advancing the work of the council, including attendance at the quarter meetings, and hopefully they will join the annual conference. So as co-chairs, Nadia and I will work with members to develop 2-year action plans to keep the collective work of the council moving forward. And the plans will include like goals or objectives that the council will work toward, strategies and tactics to achieve those goals, the timelines, the deliverables to be created, and definition of success. And upon completion, the ASAs, what you mentioned, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission, which we now call the DEI Upstander, will review and support the development and refinement of each council's action plan to ensure that the goals and strategies are consistent with the DEI's principle at ASA. So we report the progress to the membership at the annual conference and also on our annual report.
It sounds like you all are putting a lot of work into this. So first of all, thank you for doing that. As a reminder to everyone, we put out a call for membership of these councils this summer. Every summer, it'll come out in kind of somewhere in that July to September frame, depending on the year. We put out a call for deeper membership engagement overall. This can be in the form of joining one of our ACs, a board committee, perhaps joining the DEI upstanders that we've talked about. It also includes applying to join our board. And I cannot encourage you enough to consider diving deeper into your membership experience and really taking on one of these volunteer leadership roles. I have just been so impressed with the caliber of your colleagues in these positions. And it is a real opportunity for you to be a part of them too. I mean, I think Derek said it best, right? One of the things that attracted him the most to saying yes to this was simply to get to work directly with a colleague that he recognized he would enjoy working with. That is true across the board. So I really hope that as we put out these requests, look for them next summer and really think about applying. If we're not able to kind of fit you into the thing that you specifically wanted, we can usually find the right fit for you as well. I think I'm gonna say this though, that our membership celebration has kind of ended up with an unofficial theme this year. And it started from our very first conversation in an ASA Live with Aisha and Padilla, and it has just been flowing ever since. That theme is how our members work so hard finding ways to make life better for all people. And I knew from our first meeting a year and a half ago now that you have dedicated your life to that. How have you found ASA to be able to support your work and goals?
Well, I have to say the professional network that I have established since my involvement with ASA over 20 years ago. And in addition to Niger, I've maintained contacts with former or current members, including Velma Carter-Driver, who is a co-chair of the DI Upstander, Donna Yee, who used to serve on the board and a former board president, Dr. Percival Stanford as well as a former board president, and then Jenny Chin Hansen, Norma Thomas, Deborah Russell, Rigo Saborio, Eddie Rivas, Tony Sarmiento, Bob Blancato, Luis Colbert, Jeanette Takamura, and Fernando Torreo. And just, wonderful group of people to get together from time to time to talk about, hey, the change in the landscape of aging services, what should we do next? So absolutely, those are wonderful opportunities, which I don't think I would ever had without joining ASA.
Yeah, I mean, just when you were naming that list of names, I mean, I was kind of chuckling. Probably half of them we interviewed in our legacy interviews because of the legacy that these people are leaving on our industry and on our world, the work that all of you have done to really make life better. It is a privilege to get to even watch it in action, let alone support you in that. Before we leave, I always ask our guests this question. It is part of my learning experience. So I'm going to ask it of you. What is the one thing that you want us to know?
Well, one thing is, stay engaged, stay involved, and never give up. And also, I want to do a sales pitch again. Please join the upcoming 2022 On Aging Conference from April 11th through 14th next year in New Orleans. So hope to see you there.
For the record, we did not pay him to make that pitch, but I really like it. So It is true. Our On Aging conference, we've just dropped it in the comments, so you can easily go ahead and apply. And as long as we're pitching it, I will remind everybody as well that today is the last day for the early bird rates. So if you have not gone ahead and registered for On Aging yet, you need to do that today. Students and retired professionals, you are going to be saving a full $150 if you register today. Everybody else who registers today is saving $100 off of the cost of registration. Today is the day. Please take the time to go ahead and apply to be at our conference. We want you there. We cannot wait. I keep saying this is going to be like one of the first times we're all back in person together in the entire aging field. And where is there a better place to have that party than in New Orleans? So we can't wait to see you there. Please register. And remember, today is also the last day to save when you apply for membership. So, Derek, thank you for doing this with us. This was really fun. And we will celebrate with you all next year in the membership celebration. But until then, we will also be celebrating you all the time because it is your work that makes everything possible. So thank you all for joining us these last 2 weeks, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye, everybody.